Welcome back into the Enrichment Sports. I'm going to do this. When we went from Hall Salvage to Enrichment, both fine companies, I said Hall Salvage maybe for a week. Eventually, I'll just start saying the Sports Source, my own brand. For some reason, I can't say it. All right. I want to show you something interesting here. We can get this up here. For those of you, and is that one centered up? There we go. Crew's got it. That is the previous three. Those are the numbers from the previous three NCAA tournaments, the at-large bids. All right, the tournament expanded to 68 teams 3 years ago. So we looked only at those 3 years when you had 37 at-large teams. This year, you're only going to have 36 because there's another automatic bid that's going out there. But anyway, what you've seen out of 111 bids over the last 3 years, 82 of them went to teams ranked 1 through 39 in the RPI on Selection Sunday. Went back through the NCAA's official RPI. That's the RPI on Selection Sunday. 82, that's almost 74% go to 1 through 39. Only 15 have gone to teams 40 through 49. That's 15 out of 111. Only 11 out of 111, which is 10%, goes to 50 to 59. And then 60 plus, only 3 in the last 3 years. So you're looking at, I think Mike Strange was doing the math earlier, you're looking at 5 between 40 and 49 each year, and about 3 or 4 between 50 and 59 each year. So in other words, if you're not in the top 39, you're facing some uphill climb. You're not feeling safe on Selection Sunday. Let's take a look at the SEC standings quickly. I jumped ahead on Cruz there. You see those standings right there. Florida way up there, running away with the league. Kentucky, 1 game ahead of Georgia. Tennessee and Arkansas, they're tied at 4th right now. Tennessee, because they beat Arkansas, they've got the tiebreaker going into the SEC tournament. If things ended today, Tennessee would be one of those 4 teams that doesn't have to play early on. And again, UT's win over Tusculum does not count. So if you're looking and you see their record listed as 18-11, that's an exhibition game. The NCAA Tournament Selection Committee won't look at it. They'll call them 17-11. All that said, let's go to the big wipey board. The Nova Copy board where Chuck Cavallera stands. Right over there, we got the resumes. And what we've done is we've gone through the NCAA team sheets that they hand out to their selection committee, and we've put together some of those numbers. And we got them from Missouri, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Florida and Kentucky are in, we know that. LSU is now 63, so they're a slim chance to get in. Ole Miss and Georgia have RPIs 80 plus, so they're not getting in. Missouri, Tennessee, Arkansas. Don, Mark, when you look at that, and we'll go through this line by line in a second, who stands out to you in terms of, does anything stand out? Looks to me like they've all got pluses and they've all got minuses.
Yeah, I think it's right there. I would say of the 3, Missouri would have the biggest, the most improvement they need to make going into the tournament, even though their RPI is at 47.
Don, what do you think of those 3 resumes? Any of them proven themselves yet?
Yeah, no, they're all very much in the picture, and the only team really other than Florida that's really qualified, that will qualify for the tournament, and that's the automatic qualifier, and that's who's going to win. The Southeastern Conference tournament. If someone like South Carolina gets hot and all of a sudden wins 5 games in 5 days, which nobody thinks can happen, look out. Look out for these teams.
Georgia won 4 and 3 a few years ago, didn't they?
That's right. Yeah. There's only one automatic qualifier, but obviously Florida, being the number 1 seed, is going to be in.
All right, Chuck.
And Kentucky.
Let's take a look. When we look at the school record and the SEC record, Tennessee is the one that's down. I think Arkansas has the better record and the better SEC record at the moment. Why don't we circle them? Do you agree that they would get that nod? Yeah. Or do you okay.
Yeah, I kind of wonder too if this number doesn't hurt you, just the 17 total wins, because on that loss column, I think you've got 3 games in there that could have been over here that might hurt you at the end.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So put a minus?
Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll just make all kinds of different symbols. SEC record and RPI and strength of schedule. I think there, Tennessee combined, look at that strength of schedule. Theirs is 20. Missouri's is 80, Arkansas 79. Clearly, I think when you're circling RPI and strength of schedule, that goes to Tennessee.
I agree with you. The one part about that is Ole Miss is in Alabama for Arkansas. Their RPI is going to be worse off. At least Tennessee and Missouri play each other. A good RPI game that can help boost you.
I think what will help Tennessee more than anything else was their big victory over Virginia. If it gets down to splitting hairs, with Virginia having won the ACC title outright, that's really big as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, and there's no question. The problem I see for Tennessee though is what's their second biggest win. You got one good one, but what would the second one be at this moment? Xavier? I mean, if
and Xavier beat Creighton yesterday, number 9 team in the country.
Xavier's still RPI-wise around 50, so I don't. Actually, they're outside the top 50 right now. These numbers, by the way, were as of 10 p.m. last night, so you could have fluctuated with the late games last night. Let me run through these very quickly. Average RPI per win. I mean, of the teams you beat, that's the stat they look at. Missouri 144, Tennessee 144. Arkansas is the outlier at 163. Average RPI for the team that beat you. Missouri's got the worst there. They lost to teams worse than Arkansas and Tennessee did. Non-conference record, Tennessee with that 8-4. Chuck, there are those 3 games you're talking about that could come back to haunt Tennessee. Non-conference average RPI, the selection committee considers this. Tennessee does pretty good at the 132. Arkansas at 180. That could come back to bite them in the rear. You look at the road record, and that's what hurt Tennessee last year. Missouri's 3-6. Arkansas's 3-5. Surprisingly, they've won their last 2. Tennessee just 2-7. Versus RPI top 50. Missouri's only played 4 teams, but they're 2-2. Tennessee just 2-6 against top 50 RPI teams. That's another one. You're seeing a lot of red marks. You know, you could put another one there, Chuck. 2-6. Yeah, either of those. And then Arkansas's 4-5 against top 50. Against top 100, Tennessee has 2 more losses than the other 2 against top 100. 100 plus, I should say. It's another minus if you want to go there. Best wins, Missouri's is over number 21 RPI. Tennessee, as Don said, over the ACC champion. And Arkansas beat Kentucky twice. So they've got 2 wins over that. The selection committee supposedly doesn't look at the last 10 games anymore, but there you see their numbers for the last 10. But, Mark, you got into this. Missouri still has Texas A&M and then at Tennessee. Tennessee has at Auburn and then Missouri. Arkansas, Ole Miss, and at Alabama. The best schedule there goes to?
Well,
they've all got 1 dud in there.
Yeah, there is, but I think from a standpoint for Arkansas, Alabama's a tough place to play. Trevor Rutherford playing on senior night. And Arkansas have proven not being very good on the road. I would not be surprised if Arkansas does not win that game.
I certainly favor Tennessee's schedule because Auburn is not a very strong team, although they have won just a couple games at home in the SEC. But it's payback for the Missouri game. I think Tennessee, has an advantage right here of these 3 teams.
Of the teams left, Auburn at RPI 192 is the worst of all those 6 games that are remaining for those teams. Chuck, you get the final word here. Who do you give the advantage to? If you're on the selection committee, and first you tell me, is anybody a lock? Second, who do you give the advantage to at this point?
No, nobody's a lock, John, in this group. But what Virginia has done in winning the ACC tournament makes this a huge win. Tennessee at home against Missouri. Don't overlook at Auburn. The winner of this game really gets momentum going into the SEC tournament. And can Tennessee get that number 3 seed in the SEC tournament? Gives you a big chance, a double bye, and then look who you'll be playing down the road to really have a chance to get in the NCAA.
The double bye, as Chuck pointed out, is really a big deal. You may have to pay somebody that has played 2 days before. You really have a great advantage if you happen to get that double bye, and some team has advanced from the last 4 spots.
Well, and ultimately, if both Tennessee and Arkansas can win out, and they can both win a couple games in the SEC tournament, there's no telling that both of them can't get in if their RPIs improve a little bit, and ultimately we could get 14 from the SEC.
You had some interesting stats there. And the SEC is ranked 7th. Most people think right now you got 2 locks is it. You may just get 3. You have an argument very quickly. Don't run through all of them, but you can sum it up.
There's only one other high major league, the Pac-10 or Pac-12 now, that has more teams in the top 100 than the SEC does. The Big Ten, the ACC has 9 in the top 100, but Big 12 8, Big East 7. SEC has 9, but yet we're only positioned to get 3 teams in the tournament, where all these other leagues are getting Big 12 getting 7, ACC 5, Big 10 6. So what's to say that why the SEC can't get bumped up to 4 if Tennessee and Arkansas win out and get more teams in the NCAA tournament?
I'll play devil's advocate. This league is flirting very much with only getting 2 teams into the tournament. I think this league is really flirting because I follow all the conferences. In particular, I follow the Atlantic 10, and there's 5 teams there with RPIs, 50 or below, and they're going to probably get those 5 teams in the NCAA tournament. So, 1979, my first year at Tennessee, was the first time, there was ever 2 teams allowed to go to the NCAA tournament from a particular league. We had 2, but it's been since then, that we've had that few.
Oh, you got used to a run there in the 90s and early 2000s where it was 5 and 6 every year.
Yeah, exactly.
And now the league's perception has dropped so much that I think you're going to have to overcome that. Right now, I think Tennessee still got a lot of work to do to get in the tournament. When we come back, we'll let Jimmy Himes and Mike Strange join the conversation. We still got some more stuff to talk about. On the back half of the basketball talk, we got a little more football stuff for those of you that are Vegas gambling fans. We'll discuss that. I'm sure Chuck's already quaking over there. Come on back on the Sports Source.